This is part 2 of the How to Dress Like a Lady Pirate series. Dressing.
Alright, looks pretty good. You just need to tuck. We found that if you tuck it in underneath the skirt and you put the corset, then it keeps it there, while if you leave it out, then it tends to ride up. Alright, so let's get you in this corset. There are ties here that are on the top and bottom, which you can then pull up, but we're going to do a different style. Alright, so you're going to put your arms through here. This is the front with the shorter laces. We're going to untie it and then just pull these out so it's all even. So there's a knot on the front, so you should never untie that, as well as the knot in the back. So there's a whole bunch of lacing in the back that we also need to untie. So that these all become even, so that all pulls out. So these have what's called a modesty panel, both in the front and the back, and that allows it to be the continuous fabric all the way around. Alright, so put your arms above your head, and then we'll just slide this over. So a bunch of X's, and there's a U right here. We're going to pull that U, and I'm going to hand it to her, and then I'm just going to pull all the slack out from each side towards the middle. You don't want to over cinch it in the front, you just want it to be touching each side. Then we want to look at where it sits on her waist, and we want this to sit just a tad bit lower, because as we tighten it, it will slide up a bit.
But since there's no straps, shouldn't it sit up here?
Well, see, then what you're going to get is this huge gap in the front that looks like you don't have any breasts. So you want this to be right where the maximum circumference of your breast is display the best. Okay, we're going to pull these modesty panel across. Look for the U's in the middle. Pull that as much as you can, and then I'm just going to pull the slack out, and then you're going to pull Alright, so now there are laces that go on the top, these two, and then there's a number of laces that are on the bottom. You only need to pull the ones that are on the top. Slide them forward. So you're always going from the ends towards the middle. And we have found that this is one of the most effective lacing systems. And even though it looks fairly complex, once you've done it a few times, you can really, it becomes very easy. And here we're doing it in a number of stages instead of trying to fully tighten and close in one tightening. We're doing it in a whole bunch of little tightenings. And so it evens out better. And you should only tighten as tight as she feels comfortable, or maybe just a tad bit more than that, but you don't want to ever use the knee in the back, because here the tightening is all done by the lacing system, and if you have to work that hard, it's probably too tight. So here I'm just going to tie this like the front, and I'll overhand knot. There's 2 big loops and 2 small loops. I'm just going to keep pulling so that these are all about the same length, and then I'm going to double tie that. Alright? So here it's given her a very hourglass shape, which she looks wonderful in that. And then what we can also do here is we can drape these up by just tucking them up on each side. And you could also even maybe grab the middle and also tuck in as well. And then here, it's giving her those more historical wide hips, which was very popular during the 1700s. So that's it for proper corseting of Lady Pirate. And we're gonna go and see where Laura is with her corset. All right, so here she has it fitted just right in terms of the corset. This one, it's X'd in the back. It's tied just the same. And then here we this one has additional ones on the side that can be tightened up as well. And just like hers, if we wanted to, we can grab it in the middle or even farther down and then just tuck them up in. So now we can show a little bit of her bloomers off to the side. Right? So if she wants to be scandalous and show her undergarments, she can. Alright, so let's look at some accessories now. Alright, so previously we talked about how we wanted to avoid the green against green, and we had talked about putting a different contrasting color. So our Lady Pirate sashes are only 8 feet as opposed to the men's 12 feet, and they're designed to wrap around one side wide, and then here, and usually it would have been best to do it before we put the corset on. And I'm going to rotate it a little bit so that my tie comes right off to the side here. So I'm just going to do a twist like this, and so this is, I want it wide on one side and narrow on the other. Okay, and then the same thing I'm going to open up the sash, and these Lady Pirate sashes and bandanas are the same matching color and tone. We grab the middle. Okay, put your finger on your forehead there, and then we're going to just tie a knot right behind one ear. Okay, so then that we have our tail of our bandana and our sash is on the same side. Okay, and for you, I might suggest we go with one of our velvet hip scarves, so you can get a little bit of flash and pizzazz. And then it's just gonna, sometimes it goes over, but sometimes it goes right underneath the corset for its best look. And the same thing, it's wide on one side and it's narrow on the other. Alright, so there, and also maybe we want to grab a matching red bandana. Alright, so then, here we have bandanas, and maybe we want to get a hat. And I've been looking around, and I think we have this lovely black and red hat that's a little bit more of a later time period, but I think it matches the color and tone of your outfit and looks very good on you. And then for you, we have one of our custom-made hats in up on one side called the Cavalier style. And then we're going to put that on you just like that. So then we have these very good matching colors of gold and green that matches the rest of your outfit. So we just have one more set of accessories to do, you know, because sometimes you need to hold guns and skirts and money and other things. Alright, so we're here at the leather department where we're going to add our final touches to the outfit. So for you, many regular belts, they're designed to go straight across the middle of the corset, which then defeats the whole purpose of the corset where you're trying to make the middle thinner. So we've designed this special lady pirate belt where it actually goes around and uses the corset and gives you a more thinner line. Alright, but we need to add a few little accessories too. Like I think we want to add some skirt hoops to that so that she can tie that up. And then I think we're going to add a perfect fan and parasol. That one goes on that side. And then here is the parasol and parasol holder. And then I'm putting the skirt hoop from the other side. And then you always need to like carry your keys and your money, so we have our final belt there. I think we should do one less so that it writes a little less like that. And then we can always cut this so it's not so long. So now we have some accessories here. And then instead of them being tied up here, we can just loop these through the skirt hoops. And they're more secure that way. Alright? So the same thing with the other side. So here on our belt, so we see we have a place for some of our money, a skirt hoop on one side, a parasol and parasol holder on the other, and a skirt hoop and a fan and fan holder. So everything.
It doesn't dig in either.
Right, and so it works with your corset instead of against it. Okay, so for you, the feisty fighting type, we're gonna add two accessories. One for a short sword. Right. Get sort of that gunslinger kind of look. And then we're going to put a gun holster on the other side. Alright, so here we have a double barrel rotating flintlock, so that you have more than one shot. And then we have a short sword that goes on the other side. And then we also have peace ties, so that no one can steal your sword. So here we have two weapons evenly distributed, and so So if we look at our entire outfit, we have someone that's color coordinated from top to bottom as well as her. So for all your pirating needs from head to toe, think about pirate fashions.